fireplace.
Hello and welcome to Voices of the Community, the television stage for local musicians. My name is Mitch Priestley and I'm the producer of the show and your host today. In the studio with me is Jack McMahon. Jack McMahon is a singer-songwriter and he'll be performing his music for you today. Jack, welcome to the studio.
Thanks, Mitch.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it and I really love your music. I've heard you perform and it seems very natural and authentic.
Thank you.
So, how would you describe to the viewers the genre of your music?
Well, that's a complicated one, you know. I work within the constraints, for the most part, of acoustic guitar and vocal, but I grew up really in love with lots of different genres of music, and so as a songwriter, I enjoy the opportunity to explore those. So, I guess, you know, nearest and dearest to my heart is kind of the singer-songwriter genre that be exemplified by James Taylor, Jackson Brown, Bob Dylan, but I grew up listening to R&B. I'm also a big fan of country music, and I like to think that all those influences creep into my music, and sometimes they're not so much influences as they're straight up an attempt to portray that genre and to explore it as a writer, which is a lot of fun for me.
Awesome. So are there any key influences you've had in addition to those that you've named already?
Personal ones, well, you know, in the country realm, I'm a big fan of Merle Haggard. George Jones as a singer. In the R&B world, the list goes on and on. I came up in my early teens I grew up on the East Coast in New Jersey, and I used to go to the Brooklyn Fox Theater where Murray the K hosted his Cavalcade of Stars, so I got to see all of the great R&B performers, Jackie Wilson, Marvin Gaye, the Four Tops, the Shirelles, Ronnie Spector, and the Ronettes. Just, you know, the list goes on and on. So that also has been a big Al Green fan. James Brown. I mean, it doesn't reflect so much in my music, but they're all influences in some form or other. I think in terms of what I do, probably my biggest influences are, well, Burt Jansch was a big one for me. Crosby, Stills and Nash came on the scene. I put aside my electric guitar, picked up an acoustic, and began finger picking. And of course, you know, Dylan and Jackson Brown, James Taylor, the ones I mentioned. Yeah.
Terrific. Well, let's talk about the first song that our viewers are going to get to see you performing. What's that song title? And tell us a little bit about the background and the inspiration for it.
Okay, so the first song is a relatively new song. It's on a new album that I released in November of this year. It's called Dance With Me. Like many of my songs, it was kind of came about by noodling around on the guitar, you know, coming up with something interesting that inspires me to sing a melody, and sometimes there'll be a lyric that comes along with that melody. And I like to think then I'll kind of do a little detective work and sort of build the song around it, try to decide where I think it's going. And that one, the line that came to me was Dance With Me, which was kind of the hook. And what's kind of a little bit unique about that song is its unusual tuning, where I dropped the high E to low D, and it made for some interesting chord inversions. And I love finger picking, so you can, you know, pick out different notes in those chord inversions and sometimes get some interesting musicality. In terms of the story, it's kind of impressionistic, really. I mean, there's little vignettes. Some of it's inspired by real life interactions. Some of it is not. I like to think of like some Raymond Carver short stories as being embodied in kind of that vignette-oriented songwriting style.
Okay, awesome. Well, let's let our viewers enjoy that performance right now.
Okay.
Here's Jack McMahon performing Dance With Me.
I remember we were down by law, unafraid. Unaware that we were deeply flawed, just like those angry gods we made. Late September in the evening time, down on the farm, we were gazing at the yellow moon, resting my back against the barn, when you said dance with me, dance with me, dance with me, my love. And the years rolled in like thunderheads before a storm. I guess we'd better put the kids to bed, 'cause it's a school day in the morn. There's a world of scary monsters playing in their heads, and a madman in the White House who just fills my heart with dread. So won't you dance with me? Dance with me. Dance with me, my love. And as we floated across the floor, you had a fragrant rose in your hair. I said I never felt like this before, waltzing on air, waltzing on air. Then I called you up on New Year's Day to profess my love, but you just laughed at what I had to say and all that I'd been dreaming of. Well, I've heard it said time and again that love is blind, so I just close my eyes, hold my breath, and pretend that you are mine. And you dance with me, dance with me, dance with me, my love.
Terrific. That's just great. Thank you so much for that. We appreciate it.
Thanks.
Let's talk about maybe how you got started as a musical artist. How long have you been playing, and how did you get inspired to do this?
Well, it's a really long story because I'm coming up on 77 years of age. I've been playing professionally, if professionally means getting paid for it, since I was 15 years old. My first band's in high school. I grew up in New Jersey, Nutley, New Jersey, just about 12 miles outside of New York. Musical family. My mom and dad both sang. In fact, they met as singers in a show. Everybody in the family sang. We, with cornball story of the family, would ride around in the car and sing 4-part harmony, you know, which was great. Great memories. I thought everybody did that. And then I continued on in the rock band scene for many years. When I started writing my own music, I kind of went off as a solo artist. And I played New York for a number of years in the early 70s. Got to do some pretty impressive acts that I opened up for. Bruce Springsteen, Steely Dan, the New York Dolls. That was New York in like 72 and 73. I had a record deal with Columbia that Clive Davis decided to not release my record. Still carry a little grudge against old Clive, but
I bet.
made me come west. I hitchhiked across country, initially to San Francisco and then up to Portland. I was kind of taking a little hiatus from music, but my friends here in Portland goaded me to go out and start gigging again, which I did. It was a great time to get in on music in Portland. The liquor laws had just changed. The OLCC allowed music in nightclubs again. And so I was actually working a fair amount, and then I brought a couple of my former bandmates from New Jersey out, and we formed a little trio here based out of Portland in the early 70s on up until about 1980. I've always had like the dual life of the solo artist, because I could go out and do that or band up with accompaniment. And so I went kind of exclusively solo for a little while again. Then I was briefly in a band called Tracks. And then after that, being the main guy, the songwriter of the band, there are several Jack McMahon bands. Since COVID, I've really kind of focused on my acoustic solo act, and that's what I've been doing exclusively since it's about 6 years now, I guess. Yeah.
Great. Well, our guests are going to be able to, our viewers will be able to watch the performance and enjoy you performing When the Rain Comes Down. So maybe you could tell us a little bit about the inspiration and the story behind that song.
Sure. So When the Rain Came Down was inspired by a real-life experience. It seems like it was maybe around 1996 or 7. We had an extremely long drought out here in the Willamette Valley. I remember one of the weathermen saying that there had been no measurable rainfall from May until early October, I believe. And that line kind of stuck with me. And everybody's waiting for the rain to happen. I happen to be sitting in my dining room with a big picture window looking out on the front lawn and the flower gardens out front, and the lighting changed, and then all of a sudden the colors got deeper and darker, and sure enough there was this fine mist coming down, which turned into a real good honest rain. And I was playing my guitar at the time, and I had my yellow legal pad there with a pencil, and some ideas came to me, and it was one of those, I wish they were all that simple to write. It came in about 15 minutes, and it's been a good song to me. It's been covered by the Cowboy Angels. Ben out of Portland called the Freak Mountain Ramblers also covered it. I put it on my record called Toe the Line in 2000, and that's the background of When the Rain Came Down.
All right, well, that was a very inspirational moment and certainly a very welcome rain. And I know that our viewers will welcome your performance, so let's go to that now.
Thanks.
All right, this is Jack McMahon performing When the Rain Came Down.
This town turned the soil a deeper shade of brown. It felt so soft and sweet, it came without a sound. Oh, when the rain came down in the flower beds, the flowers washed their heads. White, yellow, lavender, green, and red. Every subtle hue became so rich and true. Oh, when the rain came down. swayed. Oh, when the rain came down on the local bus, the weather caused a fuss. Oh, when the rain came down among the fashion set, they found themselves all wet. Oh, when the rain came down. That satellite photo they show where you live in can never explain why it fell from heaven. But the rain came down all across this town, turned the soil a deeper shade of brown. It felt so soft and sweet, it came without a sound. Oh, when the rain came down. Oh, when the rain came down. And the rain came down.
That's awesome. Well, it's great to hear the memory of how vividly you remember the day that rain finally happened after, 176 consecutive days of no measurable rain.
Yeah.
So that must have been very, very refreshing. Well, tell us about the third song that you'll be performing.
So, The Sportscaster's Life was a fun one for me as a songwriter because it really is a story song. It's completely fictional. I've never been a sportscaster, although I am a sports fan. I was playing at McMenamin's Hotel Oregon in McMinnville, and I was waiting for my paycheck. And I was sitting at the bar, and there was an away game for the Oregon Ducks basketball team. I believe they were in Arizona. And at the end of the broadcast, which was a road game, the announcer said, "You've been watching the U of O Sports Network," which I didn't even know there was such a thing. Go Phil Knight. And so that sort of got in my mind. And then I got in my car and I was driving home. It was a wonderful feeling. I got my paycheck in the pocket. August evening, window down, beautiful summer air blowing. I fiddled on the radio dial, and I got a country music station, probably out of Medford, Oregon. It was like Merle Haggard or George Jones, one of my favorites on there. And I thought, what a beautiful moment this is. I'm flying down the road, country music on my radio. I was going to say 60 miles from home, but 1,000 miles sounded better. And 1,000 miles from home, and I missed my loved one. So it just sounded like this jump-off line for a song. So I was going to make it about, the itinerant musician on the road. And then I thought, well, that's been done, like beautifully by a number of people. And I thought, like, nobody's ever written a song about sportscaster, And I'm thinking about that guy. He was probably not a big famous athlete, and certainly not a high-dollar sportscaster. Probably stay in a Motel 6, rent a car kind of situation. And I thought, let me write about him. Let me think about what his life might be like. And so my imagination ran wild, and I kind of fleshed out a life for him.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for doing that for us, and we'd like to enjoy that performance right now. All right, this is Jack McMahon performing A Sportscaster's Life.
Now I'm flying down the road, country music on my radio. I'm 1,000 miles from home. Lord knows I miss my loved ones so. Why the station sent me here to sell T-Mobile cars and beer, and to use all the moves that I've been shown. Oh, the sportscaster's life is a lonely road. Well, I used to play the game. I spent 2 seasons in the NBA. But after 2 knee surgeries, my left was never quite the same. So I donned the suit and tie, looked that camera right in the eye. Now my best friend is a good microphone. For a sportscaster's life is a lonely road. Sometimes there's women in these hotel bars. They claim they've seen me on TV, but it's some player that they're waiting for. They try to get to him through me, and in the end, it's just my credit card and me. My little boy turned 6 today. Gave him a call when he got in from school, and he thanked me for the gift, but then he put his mother on the line. Well, the pleasantries were forced. Been 2 years since we divorced, but in time it will get better. That's what I'm told. But not a sportscaster's life is a lonely road. Hey, at least it pays the bills. I still enjoy the thrill of that play by play. Well, I really hit my stride last night. The score was tied, double overtime, and the crowd noise was so loud that I could barely hear my own head think. Why, they left me with no choice. Yelled so loud I nearly lost my voice. Man, I thought that that place would explode. Yet a sportscaster's life is a lonely road. So now I'm flying down the road, country music on my radio.
All right, that was A Sportscaster's Life by Jack McMahon. Well, Jack, as we get ready to close our time together, let us know what direction is your career headed in? Do you have a recent album or something that's just in the works?
I do. Well, all of my music is available on a website called Bandcamp. It's actually available on all the streaming services, and my site there is jackmcmahon.bandcamp.com. My most recent album is called Songs for Modern Folk. A little double entendre there. I play around the Portland area and a little bit outside of the Portland area. I work for several of the McMenamins locations. I'm a regular at Edgefield and Grand Lodge. I play at a place called Double Mountain Brew Pub on Woodstock Street, and I play at the Stickman Brewing. They have a McMinnville and a Happy Valley location. I play a little wine bar on a regular basis down in Selwood called the Corkscrew, and various other situations as they come up. I keep pretty busy. I play usually about 4 or 5 times a month, and I just love writing songs, making music for people. I feel very fortunate at my age that people are still willing to come out and that clubs are willing to hire me and to play my own music, that I make up in my kitchen. I feel pretty fortunate in that regard. So, yeah, I love doing this. Been doing it all my life. have no like big time aspirations to set the world on fire at this stage of the game. I'm just grateful.
Okay, great. Well, where can our viewers find more information about your music? I know that earlier you mentioned Bandcamp, but if anybody missed that, why don't you go ahead and let us know where can people find out about your music?
Well, if you go to jackmcmahon.com, so it's JACKMCMAHON, jackmcmahon.com, it'll take you right there.
Terrific. All right. Well, Jack, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you, Mitch.
And thank you for watching. We've been with Jack McMahon, singer-songwriter. You've gotten to hear his performances. My name is Mitch Priestley. I've been your host. Our show is Voices of the Community. It's the television stage for local musicians. Thank you for watching, and we hope to see you again next time.
And you use all the moves that I've been shown. Oh, the sportscaster's lap is a lonely road. Well, you know I used to play the game. I spent 2 seasons in the NBA. But after 2 knee surgeries, my left was never quite the same. So I donned the suit and tie, look that camera right in the eye. Now my best friend is a good microphone. Oh, a sportscaster's life is a lonely road. Sometimes there's women in these hotel bars. They claim they've seen me on TV, but it's some player that they're waiting for. They try to get to him through me, and in the end, it's just my credit card and me. My little boy turned 6 today. Gave him a call when he got in from school.